Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be diving into another weekly review and planning in Notion, obviously. And I've been breaking up this process a little differently recently. I used to do it all in one fell swoop on Monday morning, but recently I've noticed that it's just a different vibe when I sit down to review my week versus when I sit down to plan my week. Reviewing is a lot more relaxed, a lot more cozy. And so I've been trying to set that vibe with a glass of wine, lighting a candle, and then I usually sit down and I do this on either Saturday night or Sunday night. So let's go ahead and let's dive in to the review. So I've shared this whole process recently. It doesn't change a whole heck of a lot. I usually start by reflecting on the goals that I've set for the quarter. Some of these goals I'm realizing very much might be changing. I had a KPI meeting the Sunday that I did this with my networking group, and it really made me think about what my business goals are for this quarter. But I do feel like I'm in a place where I'm really happy with my other goals, which are kind of more holistic. I think I was a lot better this quarter about setting holistic goals. So first and foremost, I check in on these goals and how I feel about them. I reflect on the goals, I assess how I'm spending my time, and then I just self-reflect on, am I where I want to be in my life? And what are the things that I'm going to focus on to get me back on track? I say at one point as I'm going through this process that I think it's perfectly okay to copy and paste things from a previous week to the next. I don't think there's any point in forcing yourself to start from scratch if you are realizing there are some things that carry over from the previous week. So usually when I do this, I have my current review up in one tab, and then I have my previous week's review up in another tab. It gives me a point of reference so I can know what were the observations that came out of the previous week, and are they the same things that are coming up this week? I try not to use this as a reason to get lazy and to just copy and paste everything, but all I'm saying is it is okay if some of those things are copied and pasted. Next is the tried and true part of this process of answering these three questions: what worked, what didn't work, and what can I improve? But I want to comment on the what didn't work question really quickly, because the more I coach this, the more I teach this process, the more I realize that this might be something that I interpret a little bit differently than other people do. I approach the what didn't work question more as a what isn't where I want it to be. It is really a more of a what can I improve question, but the reason why I put it as a what didn't work is because of the fact that I like to use it as a catch-all. Like, what are all of the things that I want to identify as things that I am working on improving? And then the actual what can I improve question is where I identify the specific things that I want to take action on the following week. If I have 10 things that didn't work, I'm not going to take action on all 10 of those things the following week. So the what didn't work is a catch-all for everything that I'm working on improving. And then the what can I improve is the question that I use to really identify the specific places that I'm going to be focusing on. Now, I've been doing this for a while, so it's pretty easy for me to come up with things that are working and things that I'm working on improving. My rule of thumb is, if you're new at this, you have to come up with something that's working. You can't just focus on what's not working. If you have a tendency to focus too much on the things that aren't working, I recommend trying to make sure you come up with an equal number of working and not working. After I answer the three questions, I come up with memories for the week. Sometimes they're memories, sometimes they're successes, sometimes it's a little bit of both. But this is always the final step. Last but not least, there's a few checkboxes at the end of my review. They're getting me clear, getting me clean, getting me current, getting me creative. And what I do in these, some of them is a little bit redundant, but what I do is I empty my head, which I already kind of felt like I'd done today, so I checked that one off pretty quickly. And then I go through and I clear my digital and my physical inboxes. My physical inbox was already empty. My digital inbox, I just had to open up real quick. I use a quick capture page in my Notion system where I have a notes and a tasks inbox. And I use this as a time to organize the notes that I maybe haven't organized yet, and also to assign or delegate the tasks that are in my task inbox. Once I do these last two steps, that's it. I'm really done with the process. So I wrapped up, logged off, finished my glass of wine, and enjoyed my Sunday night. I pick up the rest of the process Monday morning. I love doing my planning for the week on Monday morning. So I'm going to make myself some coffee, make myself some breakfast. I made some avocado toast, and accidentally set off the smoke detector, even though my toast was not burned. If you can hear the audio, you hear me swearing. I used to be somebody who didn't eat breakfast for a while after I woke up. But one of the big lifestyle changes I've been making is to try to increase the frequency with which I eat. Now, I'm not eating like 5 meals a day or anything like that. I'm just trying to eat at a relatively consistent time interval and space out my 3 meals a day. It's definitely something that helps a lot with women's hormones, so it's something I've been focusing a lot on. Now that we're done with that, let's go ahead and dive into the planning. Now, before I dive into this, I just want to point out that I have this week layout at the top. I have a really, really crazy May, and I really want to make sure I'm maintaining a lot of my health habits in May. So I went ahead and I outlined my weeks, what's coming that week, and what the kind of health-related priorities and goals I have for that day are. It allowed me to lay out my workouts, so on and so forth, and I'm going to share this video at a later time. The big things that I do in this planning process is I fill in a how am I feeling this week, and then I set priorities and intentions for the week. That is really the gist of it. I try not to overplan too much because what I've been really trying to do each day is really sit down and plan out my day in a day planner. Again, I can share more of those day planners with you if that is something that you are interested in. It's kind of something that I've been doing to help me outline and theme my days so that I'm not constantly ping-ponging back and forth between different activities. I can share that. Comment below if you'd like me to. But let's go ahead and let's start with the how am I feeling going into this week. Once I'm done with that part, then I set priorities for my week. I have a speaking trip this week, as well as a number of other things that I really, really want to get done. It's just another one of those times where I feel like my high achiever brain is sometimes getting the best of me. So I'm trying to find a nice balance between maintaining some of the health things that I've been doing while also moving the needle on some of the business goals that I have. So I set my priorities for the week. I set my intentions for the week. Then I did something that is a little bit new this week. I copied my priorities and my intentions over to my day planner. Now, I've been moving away from using my HQ page and moving more toward using my day planner for 2 reasons. The HQ page is a little overwhelming and it loads really slowly on the browser and desktop versions of Notion. So I have been using my day planners more as my main page that I've been keeping up over the course of the day. This is part of the reason why I don't make changes to my Notion digital planner every time I change an aspect of my systems, because oftentimes I'm playing around with and feeling out these changes and if I feel like they are effective or not. So that is it. That is the end of my weekly planning and review, this new 2-part system that I've been doing. If you enjoyed what you saw today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time, my friends. Bye.